a warning?
There ain't nothing to worry about.
I'm worried that you work in an office, have children, celebrate wedding anniversaries. The world of heterosexual is a sick and boring life.
Hi. Do you ladies go to school here too?
Not anymore. We're the house mothers of the sororities on campus.
That's so dope. Do you live in the houses with the girls?
Yes.
Ah, that's even dopier. So what do house mothers do?
We oversee the meal plans, chaperone the social events, make sure the girls stay out of trouble.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I used to do back at the mansion. Can I be one too?
I'm sorry. This is a sorority, not a brothel.
A brothel? Oh, I'm not looking to make soup. I'm looking to be like you. I want to be a house mother.
We have standards. Standards that you clearly do not meet, but it was nice to meet you.
But I just want
So
to
nice. Try Zeta. Their last house mother was hospitalized with hallucinations.
Awesome.
Welcome back to the show, listeners.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the year 2008.
I was going to say, Time Warp.
Time Warp.
The song.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
We're here for Nicole Scherzinger. Listeners, I hope you know that in this house, we're behind Nicole, but she's not the focus of today's episode.
No.
My name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay.
Yes.
From our Barbie episode, Justin Allison, welcome back on the show.
Justin,
Hey,
welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me back. I'm
You
so
have
excited.
returned for the House Bunny episode.
Yes.
Directed by Fred Wolf, written by Karen McCullough and Kirsten Smith. You said Kiwi? She goes by Kiwi
I
Smith?
think so. I
Cute.
think so.
I love that. Released August 22nd, 2008. Very
Love it.
excited to talk about the House Bunny. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's great. We used to live on a street called Bonnie Avenue, and our Wi-Fi was the house Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't make that up. Our good friend Jose did, but
Yeah.
this movie, and I say this every time I watch it. I always forget this is a Happy Madison movie.
Yeah.
It's got Sandler written all over it. It just
Mm-hmm.
has that sensibility. But it's like, I kind of like that Happy Madison doesn't have like, it's the girl version, like with Gary Sanchez.
Yeah.
And there's like the Gloria Sanchez that makes like Bridesmaids or whatever. It's like, well, we can just make movies.
But it's
kids.
also funny because you definitely recognize his friends. Like,
Yes.
throughout.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Grandma's Boy is in there. Alan Covert.
Alan produced the movie, too.
Alan Covert.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. He's a producer on it. Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
Another fucking banger.
Yeah, another
Children.
banger from the
Go
2000s.
Go out and watch Grandma's Boy.
Still makes me laugh.
with the commentary. Hilaire. But yeah, House Bunny. I feel like I think that this was always something that I wanted to touch on, but Justin, you kind of, brought this one to us as well, right?
Yeah, I love this whole era, just the Playboy mention in general. It was such a
We're gonna talk
like,
about
time.
we're gonna talk about my backstory with Playboy.
Yes, I love the Girls Next Door. Love this era of like the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much fun. When I was looking at this box office top 10 in August, there were 3 original comedies in the top 10. Like, can you even remember a time in Hollywood when 3 major original studio comedies were making money?
Yeah.
It was The House Bunny, Tropic Thunder, and Pineapple Express.
And for this to be a PG-13 film, it is pretty risque.
It is.
And
It
so,
is.
I mean, a lot of people were able. It wasn't like Bridesmaids, where it's rated R. Like a lot of people got to go see this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it was risque, but I don't know. I think it's
Wholesome values
It's
in
got
it.
its heart in the right place, but occasionally, Shelley, occasionally Shelley has a couple of interesting scenes. Every time constantly during this rewatch, Scott and I were just screaming out, "Shelley!" I don't know if you remember, Justin, or listeners, in the first season of Strangers with Candy, Jerry would have a weird pet in her locker in every episode, and it was always something weird. It would be like a snake or something crazy. And in one episode, it was a big turtle, and she would like open the locker, and then she'd go Shelley, and she'd grab it and pull it out and like kiss the turtle's face, and then put it back. And it was just a running joke that they had in every episode. But I would just always scream out Shelley just because the way she would say it. So I was saying that a lot during this movie, but. This movie is very quotable, though. There's a lot of really funny stuff in it. I think,
it brings the jokes.
We knew Anna Faris was funny from Scary Movie, right? We already been new all that, but I think there's just something about this performance that just kind of like amped her up a little bit. That I was like, okay,
there's something so magnetic about her.
This is great. This is so
really
smart.
Is it really the first time that she was a lead in a movie? Because usually she's just a supporting character.
Right.
Because she would have just been coming off of stuff like My Super Ex-Girlfriend, where she's usually just kind of the friend.
Right.
In movies. Or, I mean, I guess
Are you telling me that Sidney Campbell is
I guess
not a
that
lead
Sidney
character?
Campbell is the lead of Scary Movies.
Well,
so.
and I think this really put her on the map for the gays.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I guess it was more like a proper Anna Faris vehicle.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's so much of the Wayans brothers in
Right.
Scary Movie.
But, I do want to elaborate on the idea that the gays grabbed this and grabbed her and kind of ran with it. Because that's kind of a thing now. Like, I still see memes of like, what straight guys like and what gay guys like. And what the gay guys is like House Bunny and the girls next door. And straight guys is like, men and...
right,
and
yeah.
like football uniforms or whatever.
Well, and I find it interesting, too, that with it being a Happy Madison production, those are very masculine comedies.
Yeah.
And so you've got a bunch of straight guys behind this movie that's actually really like appreciated by the gay community.
Yeah. And I think their comedies were never outright. I mean, maybe I could be completely wrong on this, but I feel like somebody that really enjoyed Grandma's Boy, like I said, and even just the early Sandler movies. Yes, there are some jokes in there, but I think they're gay jokes in there, but I don't think they're outwardly homophobic and
Or mean-spirited.
And I don't think that Sandler and Nick Swartzen and Covert and all those guys are outwardly homophobic. I think they're easy to make those jokes, but they're not coming from a mean.
Yeah, and
place.
I was reading when they were pitching this
You got
movie.
Alexis Arquette and
The
Wedding
Wedding
Singer.
Singer.
Yeah.
I was reading when they were pitching this movie that it was the two writers and Anna Faris. They were shopping it to studios, and they said that they pitched it around 21 to 24 times, and they finally got around to Happy Madison, and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, who's attached to this? Anna Faris? We loved working with her in The Hot Chick. Absolutely, we will totally produce a movie with Anna as the lead."
Wow.
So I love that.
Yeah. Great. I do want to talk right at the top about kind of our history with The Girls Next Door. I think all three of us have a very specific story about watching that show.
Well, I've talked on the show that I have a strong background with the magazine Playboy because my dad got Playboy delivered to our house all through my childhood and young adulthood. That Playboy was always there on the kitchen counter.
Yeah, it wasn't hidden away in a stock drawer.
Just a staple of whenever you go over to my dad's house, that Playboy, you were always really excited to find the Playboy bunny on the cover, to read the jokes. Like, it was never something that my dad kind of hid. I think that he was into both my sister and I loved reading it. Maybe it was just kind of something of that maybe this will, like, turn this one straight. So here's a Playboy. But little did he know that
you were just reading it for the articles.
I was reading it for everything. I loved reading Playboy.
You were reading another Gore Vidal claptrap.
Mm-hmm. I loved the Celebrity 20 Questions. Those were always really good. The jokes. I loved all of the photos from the Playboy Mansion, just because there was just something so much fun about all of them, and just kind of capturing this Playboy nightlife of the 2000s, kind of when they were kind of coming into a renaissance of Hugh running the magazine in his late 70s and early 80s, that it was kind of oddly the height of Playboy, that it was its most commercial, and then they started doing The Girls Next Door. And I remember when The Girls Next Door came on when I was in college, it was event television for me and my friend. of that. Come over to our house. We're gonna drink some beers and we're gonna watch some TiVoed episodes of The Girls Next Door. That it was always just a big part of all of our friend groups. It was just watching The Girls Next Door. And then we got the DVDs, and I remember watching seasons 1 and 2 on DVD, listening to the commentaries with all of them. And I just remember thinking that this show is so much fun. And I just have such a appreciation for Playboy, the brand, that I was super into it. And I know that kind of Playboy as a legacy, it's very complicated now when you look back on it, especially when Holly Madison has written her book, Down the Rabbit Hole. Her and Bridget have this podcast that Hugh Hefner was a very polarizing and complicated figure in the world of feminism. So I think that stuff like that, it's interesting to reflect back on of this time that kind of wants to oversell this idealized world that all of these playmates that lived in the mansion lived. And it's a little more complicated when you kind of look back on it now. So what's your background of Playboy?
So I never had access to the magazine, but my earliest memories of like learning about what Playboy was Pamela Anderson, because I was obsessed with Baywatch.
Yeah.
Huge star in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I knew that she had been a part of it and everything like that. And then I remember when Showgirls had come out, and it was like a big deal that Elizabeth Berkley, I think her and Gina Gershon had like maybe a pictorial in it, or they were on the cover or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I also grew up in that era when Playboy was becoming kind of like this commercialized brand with like merchandise. Yep. Like the girls at school were wearing like bunny shorts that had like the emblem on the back. And then The Girls Next Door came out right as I was about to start high school. And when I tell y'all I was obsessed with that show, it was like rushing home on Sunday nights, trying to make sure I catch the new episode. Like me and my mom, like it's so crazy to think that a television show about like a nude magazine, like, or you think about like it's gonna be his girlfriends, but then you watch it and you're like, wait, this is like super wholesome, and like family friendly. Like, I don't know, it was kind of like this moment where it became something that like nobody expected it to.
Right. Yeah.
Like they kind of were like, I guess like the butt end of a joke, and then you watch the show and you're like, wait, I actually really like these girls. Like, there's like a sweetness to it that I can't explain.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was working at the mall, and I've talked about it on the show. As listeners, as you might know, I was working at Mr. Rags at the time. And Mr. Rags was half, and let me also say this and preface by saying this, Mr. Rags was owned by Claire's Incorporated of Claire's Boutique, right? They're the parent company. So Mr. Rags is half a like hip-hop clothing store. And so we sold like FUBU and Jinko jeans and like ENCE or however you pronounced it, and like all and like Baby Fat and all those things. And then the other half was a skate shop. So we had skateboards and like rave clothes and like skate T-shirts, and like we put skateboards together, and I built skateboards and all that stuff. And so we carried those like guys' clothes, like those ugly shirts that all the guys in the Broken Hearts Club wore, that were like those short sleeve, like shiny shirts, you know, that were very flammable. And we also started carrying Playboy stuff, clothing, and for guys and girls. And it was like flying off the shelves. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, what the fuck? Like, this is so crazy. Like, how is this becoming this huge like clothing brand? And these girls are into it, these guys are into it. And to me, it always came across as the people that bought it were always the same people that like got clothes that had like flames on them in some capacity, you know, flames coming up the shirt, very like, well, I mean, now it's like this Guy Fieri thing, but in the year 2000, it was, I don't know, very like new metal adjacent, you know, it's very like just buying this, and then they went over to the warehouse across the way, and they bought the Limp Bizkit.
I suppose that you have your rockabillys, and then you kind of have your new metal car guys.
No, it's not really even that close to rockabilly. Those guys are like way too cool for it. But so to me, it was corny. I was like, what is going on with this Playboy brand? Like what? And then I started kind of. I wasn't watching the show, but my mom was, right? And she was like, oh, it's so good. You have to watch, so cute. And again, to me, like this 20-year-old or 21, 22-year-old, like fresh out of the closet, but I'm also very entrenched in this indie rock, like proto hipster, like universe. So I'm just like, get that fucking corny nonsense and the spiky blonde tips out of my face. All these people are
girls
stupid.
with very platinum blonde
Yes.
white hair.
So I'm too cool for it, right? I'm just like, ugh, I can't even with these people. Just like the bleach is just like melting their brains. Come all these years later, I watch The Girls Next Door. I'm like, this is great. This is great. This is amazing.
I was making you watch episodes the past few days.
I have a lot of issues with Kendra. I feel like me and Kendra are just working things out to this day. Me and her, a very contentious relationship. I just want to, just shake her.
Kendra,
sometimes.
get out of bed and go decorate Easter eggs with Bridget and Holly.
Just go to the dog birthday party. Come on. What else do you have to do today besides wake up at noon?
Well, and I feel like everyone who watches the show, they're one of those girls. So I was definitely a Holly, and I still am to this day. So I was Holly.
I'm probably more Bridget because I went to broadcasting
little
school.
Bridget.
Oh.
And I think that Bridget is in a lot of the House Bunny, too.
Of the character.
I think I had heard actually a rumor, and I can't remember who said it. I heard it on like either a podcast or something, that the character of Shelley was actually inspired by Bridget.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
From the look to
I
the
just
kind of
watched
characterization.
the episode of The Girls Next Door where they film their cameos, and I think that they comment on it.
Okay, maybe that's
of when she's walking around the mansion that they're like, oh wow, like it's Bridget.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then, because and it makes sense because Bridget's so freaking sweet. Like,
sure,
I love Bridget. I mean, I love them all.
Yeah.
But
so
I'm
you're Holly.
I'm a Holly.
You're a Bridget, and I am the Mary.
You're Mary.
I'm Mary, Hugh's elderly secretary that he's had with
Mary.
him since like the 60s.
I love when they go and chat with Mary.
The funny thing
in her little office.
The funny thing about that show is that I was telling you, this is the kind of wealth that like 80s children like think about. Like when you want to be rich, it's very Richie rich, right? Like at one point Hugh was like, I'm gonna order a pizza, but not like I'm gonna call Domino's. Like I'm gonna call downstairs and have them make my pizza.
You got
the way I like it.
You have numerous butlers.
Yeah, like it was the dog birthday party, and Kendra A didn't want to go to it, and B like didn't get anything for the dog, so she went to like the secretaries and was like, y'all have gift cards or greeting cards? And they're like, yeah. And they pull out a drawer of just greeting cards. Just look at the rooms. This one, perfect. Oh, in the kitchen, opened a drawer, a whole pan of brownies just in a drawer in the kitchen.
And I think they had like the Olive Garden Caesar dressing or something.
Before you could buy it at the grocery store?
Before you could buy it in the store. So watching that, I was like, wait, I want to live there.
Yeah, that's the kind of rich that you wanted to be.
So we
as
were
a kid.
watching the 4th of July episode, and Bridget kind of throws out this little fact about Hugh, that at the time he was the only private citizen of LA that had a fireworks permit.
I remember that, yeah.
And just kind of casually drops it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine in like Holmby Hills in Bel Air, like, no, you can't. Fireworks are fucking illegal. You live in a mountain. But no, he's got a permit.
And I love how they would like jet set to like Vegas, but then they'd have to be back before curfew or like before like the next morning.
Any trips,
at least.
Any trips that they did with Hugh would be minimal leaving the house.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like to travel.
And I'm very Holly in that situation. I'm like, okay, guys, like, I know you are drunk, but we need to like wrap it up. Like, let's get ready to go.
Get the show on the road. Yeah. It's the little things like that when you start to watch like the details of how they live their lives, that you're just like, okay, maybe I don't want to look behind the curtain. Because there's some weird shit, right? Yeah. Like they have their whole like bedroom set up, and like Kendra's got like her dirty old room, and like Bridget's got her like really cute, like well put together room. They have their little bathrooms and all that. But also it's like, what do you do all day? Like,
and then Holly's just stuck in the old man's bedroom.
Yeah.
Holly didn't even have her own space.
She doesn't really have her own space.
Yeah. Stacks and stacks of magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Hugh's bedroom is wild because that house is so old that there's just stacks of shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Like Mary's office, it's like, oh bitch, she has been in that room for 35
Like,
years.
does she leave ever?
Yeah. So it's like when you start seeing the little things like that, you're like, I do not want to know how the sausage gets made. Like these poor girls, like what is their life? Like now that they have the show, okay, great. We get to think of things to do. Like what party are we throwing? What whose dog's birthday is it? But aside from that, it's just like they weren't even playmates. They were just like
there was a lot of politics involved with it.
It got real. It gets a little weird when you start to chip away at everything.
And that's what's fun about kind of Holly reflecting back on it now is that she kind of breaks it all down.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad that Bridget is involved.
Yeah.
Because she's there to be able to either corroborate all of it.
I know that
be
Bridget
like,
kind of has more of a half glass full attitude with Playboy, that she kind of is there to remind the audience. I take it for that podcast of that there was a lot of fucked up shit, but then there were also some really fun times.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what Bridget really kind of treasures the most about the time at the Playboy Mansion.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing I'll say about the show too is like it's reality television, so I'm sure there were things produced. Like Holly even says on the podcast that some things were obviously produced, but
right.
I think this was the era before reality television became so produced that it became people's lives and like they created drama just to like
to get a storyline.
And this was kind of right before The Hills, where they would just like these fights would have happened, but then they would recreate them on the camera.
Right, yeah.
Of this is how we got in that fight that one time, but now we have to do it on camera.
Yeah. And you also didn't have social media where you're building this platform to kind of like build your character.
Right. Yeah.
And then I think that there was also just this particularness with Hugh and the Playboy brand that you just really have to think of the brand first. And I think the wholesomeness of the Girls Next Door was really important for them, of just kind of selling it as this fantasy for these women and Hugh as just kind of on this pedestal. And they were very protective over stuff like that, too.
Yeah.
Another thing, though, at the time that I kind of wasn't able to wrap my head around was the idea of these Playboy Mansion parties that you got a little peek at in the show. And I don't know, I thought, it's a show about living at the Playboy Mansion. We're going to see the parties. You see them, but you don't really see like what really is going on. And like, to me, as again, a 20-year-old, like wannabe hipster, new gay child, I thought I knew everything and was like the coolest person on earth. And I was like, those parties seem so rapey to me, right? And the kind of people that go, right? You look back and you're like, there's Danny Masterson. You're like, there's Emil Hirsch. Like, you're checking off the list. You're like, gross, not gonna go, not gonna do it. And I mean, on the one hand, there's Lovitz and there's, I'm sure like Rob Lowe's at all these parties. Fine people.
I also think just sort of the wild Playboy parties, I think that's more of a holdover from the old days of Playboy.
But they were there in the 2000s, though. Those parties were gross. And I mean, to me, I'm thinking, even to this day, I'm thinking, I don't know that I would have ever wanted to kind of be a part of that. But I don't know if my friends were like, hey, we got an invite.
Well,
are you going?
It's a little complicated to get invites at the Playboy Mansion because you had to put a headshot in.
Yeah.
And if you were a man, straight or gay, you probably weren't going to go.
Well, that's why you had to be
Unless
celebrity.
you were
That's
like
why
a
you were
celebrity.
Seth Green or John Lovitz. I mean, come on.
Well, what I find so crazy is like there are still moments where like I think back like, wow, the Playboy Mansion was a real thing.
Yeah.
Like to think that there was this man that lived in this mansion with all these girls through these
And
big
monkeys
parties.
and parrots and
And we still have celebrities that are big now that were at those parties.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember if I read it in Holly's book or if I read it in somebody else's book, but or maybe it was on a podcast, but someone was talking about Leo was there making out with like someone, and I was like, wow, like he's still a very big deal. So like, I mean, we're not that far from when all this took place.
No, we're not far removed at all. From,
but
like,
all these
parties.
like influencers coming up, like these TikTokers and people, like they don't know about that. Like all they know of it is only what they can watch from the reality show.
Or a TikToker house having a party. You know how they all live together and they try to have these
Also,
parties,
just
but
kind
it's
of a time
TikTokers.
before everyone just had a phone in their hands.
Right.
That, I mean, I'm sure that there were strict no photograph policies at the mansion, but it's nowhere near it is now.
And that's why when they have the 4th of July party and the boxing party and all that stuff, they show like the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, and then the sun's going down. There's some lights. And then it's like, and then Holly's like, I'm going to sleep. And they all go inside, you know?
AKA me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like the girls, like maybe Kendra, because she was young and
She
she was
wanted
like
to
the
party.
third girlfriend. Maybe
Yeah.
she got out. But I think when it comes to Holly and Bridget, from everything I understand from their podcast, it was like, no, we had to stay by his side. Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
we weren't allowed to like.
they were held to a
Yeah.
very high standard.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all this being said, this Playboy brand was a very real thing, and the fact that they kind of allowed it to be used, and the mansion, and like the inside of the mansion, and the girls next door in this movie, I'm kind of a little shocked that Hugh was like, sure,
Yeah.
like let's sign off on this, and let's make this comedy movie where they're kind of making fun of the brand a little bit to an extent, you know. So it's kind of pretty remarkable that we even got this movie that's completely on brand, and it is Playboy.
Right.
But I think it just goes, maybe the script was just that great. I don't know how cognizant Hugh was. I don't think he read the script. But maybe they just pitched him, hey, this is Adam Sandler.
They had an executive
and
from,
this movie-
from Playboy give it at least a good once over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lawyers, at least.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think the people were just like, this is Adam Sandler. Do you like money?
Yeah.
Like, because this movie's going to make a lot of money.
Well,
he
and
just
I
said
definitely
yes.
think they, like y'all were saying, they were very careful with the brand.
Yeah.
And like I remember there's an episode where Anna Faris literally goes and presents the film like for movie night
Yeah.
at the mansion.
Yeah.
She brings over like the big big tape for it.
Something that we were watching was the whole idea of the vintage Playboy bunny costume, right? The one that you think of with the cuffs and collars
From the Playboy Club.
and you know it's a one-piece bathing suit from the Playboy Club, but it's satin, right? And there's a whole song and dance of who's in it and who's not in it and all that. And in this movie, there's a big scene at Shelley's 27th birthday party, and they're all doing the electric slide, and she's not wearing it. You know, and there's a couple of girls in there that are, but I would imagine they got a lot of actual like
Right.
Playboy girls to
Yeah.
come in and take part, and they were probably ones that had the the training and passed the little course or whatever that it took. But it wasn't just like you had to fit into it. It was like you needed to know how to present yourself.
The bunny
to
finishing
even
school.
wear it.
They talk
Yeah.
about that of how you serve drinks in
Well,
it.
you got to do the dip.
You have to do the little bunny dip.
You can't do the bunny dip.
I can do the bunny dip.
Do it right now.
I'll do it right now.
It's backwards. It's
No,
like a
not
whole,
the
like,
bend and
thing.
snap. The
It's
bunny
very-
dip.
It's very different.
So I was reading that the original idea for the script was a little darker, that it was pitched as a Playboy bunny that got kicked out of the mansion, and Anna Faris's initial pitch was a little darker, and it revolved around a Playboy model returning to the Midwest after getting kicked out of the mansion for being old and falling into drugs.
Oh, my
And then I think that
We don't want
both
that.
Karen and Kirsten were like, all right, let's make this a fun college
retool
comedy.
this, yeah.
Because I remember when doing the research for Legally Blonde that originally Legally Blonde was a little more broad and college comedy focused, of something more in the lines of an Adam Sandler movie or American Pie. So I think that a lot of the early drafts of Legally Blonde kind of ended up in the House Bunny.
Sure.
That this is more of a traditional comedy for college kids, sort of.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I really like the whole. I mean, it's the name of the movie, but I think it's just a really funny concept of her coming in and being a house mother to these girls, and I love the idea of a nerdy sorority. Like we've seen Revenge of the Nerds, we've seen a nerdy fraternity before.
That revolves around girls. Yeah.
But the fact that it's a nerdy sorority, I think, is funny because I think nerdy girls exist and it's a whole thing, and it's just a great idea to have this sorority that they've got 7 girls. Like they got 7 girls. Like how are they not shut down already? There's
And it
only
looks
7
like
of
they
them.
live in the Addams Family house.
Yeah, this house. How they flip this entire house in the course of this movie is like all right, but yeah, I think it's just a really kind of genius little idea, and it just kind of it doesn't necessarily write itself, but it's really smart, and I think they're able to play with different kind of girl nerd like archetypes, right? Because Emma Stone's character is just kind of a little all around, just a little goofy kind of girl. But then you've got like the kind of like farm country girl who's like wrestling the pig. And, like,
Timber.
you know.
Mona, played by Kat Denning, is kind of the punk
Mona's
rock
the
one.
punk girl,
Yes.
you know,
With all the
that.
face piercings.
I love that, but I also love that one of the girls is just pregnant.
Catherine McPhee.
Mrs. David Foster.
Mrs. David
So
Foster.
Pete got,
Oy,
Pete
oy
got really
vey.
annoyed, and I'm just like, did Catherine McPhee win her season of American Idol?
And I was like,
And
girl.
he was like,
No.
no.
I think she was second, right?
She wasn't even second. She was
Oh.
like fourth or something.
David
yeah.
David Hicks, is that who? Or Taylor Hicks? I think
Oh,
he
I
won
don't
her
remember
season.
her season. Who won? But
All I
remember
know is she had this single that came out after she lost American Idol called "Over It," and I still jam to that.
Oh, all right.
I love that song.
Okay, so she was on season 5, and let's see who the hell. Oh, Mandisa. Oh, Mandisa just died. R.I.P. So this was Kelly Pickler's season, the pick, and this was Taylor Hicks, and he was the thing that he had the gray hair,
Right.
But he was 25.
And he was from Alabama, I believe.
Sure.
That's why I remember it.
Yeah, Birmingham, Alabama. How about that? Yeah. So I want to see.
She was on a stacked season.
Yeah. Yeah, Kelly Pickler and Taylor Hicks. Yeah. Oh, Elliot Yamin, I remember him. Oh, geez, I watched this whole season. I remember this. Yeah. So this is weird. Wikipedia is breaking it down by like male and female. Oh, get out of here. She was second. Oh, I thought she was like fourth. Oh, never mind. Shut my mouth.
Yeah, I
right.
watched it pretty religiously back then.
Did you catch the McFever?
I did not. I did not
didn't
catch
have
it.
it then?
In fact, when
Okay.
I was at the theater and she popped on the screen at the house bunny, I was like, "What is she doing here?"
You're like, not her.
But I
Such
did
an
like that
interesting
song.
time when they would put the Idol contestants in movies.
Right?
So interesting.
Well, there weren't a lot of, and I was gonna say because there's.
I
a
mean,
really,
one of them won an Oscar.
There's a really funny, joke later on in this movie when she's on a date with Colin Hanks, and I was like, "Damn, what the hell season of it? Like, how old is this movie?" Because Paula and Randy stayed for most of it.
This was kind of right when Paula was probably
Paula dipped like
peacing out.
Yeah, because then there was like Ellen, and then there was like that one crazy lady for a while, and then there was
We
a
had
whole
Nikki and
thing.
Mariah,
Yes, yeah, that was like
J Lo.
yeah. So I was like, damn, Paula. But that joke is still funny to this day. I love when she says, "Simon is just so mean." Dead.
So, have you given any thought to who you might be voting for?
I'm not sure yet. I definitely won't listen to what Simon says. He is just so mean. I usually always agree with Paula and Randy. Oh, you meant the president of the United States. The United States of America. USA, for short. 50 states if you include Hawaii. Most people do. I'm definitely pro-Hawaii.
What do we think of Colin Hanks? Cute?
Colin Hanks was one of my first celebrity sightings when I moved here. When I moved to Los Angeles, Colin Hanks, I saw him at All About the Bread, and I was on a plane to Seattle with him once.
Oh wow!
He was riding coach.
Y'all have met.
He was
multiple times.
back in coach.
Okay,
He's a man
so
of the people.
Not Colin Hanks
I
and
remember he was in a film with Diane Lane called Untraceable.
I remember Untraceable.
Okay, and ever since that movie, I'm like, I don't like him. I don't like him.
Joseph Cross is the villain of Untraceable, though, right?
I don't know.
I
I just
think
remember
so.
him being. He's in that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that he's the villain of it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think he was a weird love interest for House Bunny. It's kind of random, right?
I think so. I think it's kind of random. Yeah. Untraceable has Stan Lane, Billy Burke, Colin Hanks, Joseph Cross, and Mary Beth Hurt. Yeah, how about that? From 2008. Yeah, I do think that it was a weird choice. But I guess the idea is that this character is kind of opposite from Shelley.
Right.
And he's going to kind of bring out something in her her intellectual side, or it's funny to kind of have her explore an intellectual side. And I guess Colin Hanks comes across as smart. Since he's not your run-of-the-mill heartthrob. I don't know. I think he's.
I think it works.
He's fine looking. No, I think it works. Every now and then though, I'm just like, kind of sounds like Tom Hanks. I'm getting like the voice. Doesn't look anything like his dad, but sometimes every now and then I get a little bit of like. Oh.
I think he looks sort of like
Woody?
a young version of his dad.
I don't know. I
think so.
I don't get it at all.
This is one of the first times that I remember Rumor Willis really being showcased in a movie.
Yes, Rumor Willis.
I mean, she was in stuff like Striptease.
Yeah.
As
as
Demi's
a
daughter.
child, playing like the kid when they.
So-
But this would have been a big break for Rumor.
I knew her at this time because she played the lesbian character on the 90210 remake. So it was around the same time as
right.
this.
She did.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I remember.
We watched
Okay,
it.
so I remember the 90210 remake or reboot series
Yeah.
was fall of 2008.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't remember that she was on that. That's funny.
I
Forgot
love
about that.
that
Is she in
show.
season 1?
She's either in season 1 or season 2,
Okay.
but she had like a long story arc.
Oh, okay. good.
And so that's what I knew her from.
Okay. So her whole gig in this movie is that she's got this crazy scoliosis brace that's like knight in shining armor status. I will forgive the stolen Romeo and Michelle refrigerator magnet jokes.
Yeah. I thought about that too.
We've seen it. It's okay. I think they did a little something funny with it because one of them has like Emma Stone's like, oh, I need that. That's the grocery list. And I mean, we haven't even talked about her yet. I think Emma Stone is really funny in this.
Yeah.
I think she's really
This would have
funny in
been
this.
this was the year after Superbad.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would have kind of been a big deal for her.
So after Superbad, she kind of did like this trilogy of like random PG-13 comedies.
Yeah.
Because she had The Rocker, The House Bunny, and then Ghosts of Girlfriends
Not
Past.
the rocker.
God, I forget that she's in Ghosts of Girlfriends Past.
So those three were back to back to back.
Wow.
And I feel as though she really stood out for this. And so then kind of Easy A was like after those three.
Yeah.
And like Easy A, I mean, she skyrocketed after that.
Yeah.
I feel like both her and Kat Dennings probably were reading for the same roles at the time.
Most
That I
likely.
feel like they would be in, their headshots are going to be up on casting boards of
Yeah.
we need a girl in their 20s.
Yeah. So I need to put this baby to rest. Kat Dennings with an S. Because the thing is, you got your Sally Field and Donna Summer, singular.
Did I say Kat Denning?
No, you said it right.
Dennings?
You said it
Okay.
right. Yeah. But I always get it confused, and I always want to go singular because with Sally Field and Donna Summer, it's just the one summer. It's just the one field, and everybody tries to make it plural, but they're wrong. And so this one, I'm like, no, it's Denning. Obviously, everybody's just adding that S, like Nordstrom's, where their S does not exist. But Miss Kat Dennings, it is Dennings. The S is there, and I am wrong. So how about that? So that
Well,
one's- that
and the
one's put to
cast
bed.
was, I mean, pretty stacked for all these
I think
females.
so. They're great.
Like
They're all funny.
Many of them are still like working to this day.
Yes.
So I mean, you had a really great cast for this.
Yes. Who is the main mean girl?
Her name is Ashley, played by Sarah White.
Okay. I feel like she did this character.
Yeah, I think that this one.
something
I think that
else,
this
too.
one worked around at the time.
But kind of doing this kind of mean girl character.
Is this the mean girl from the mansion, or the mean girl in the?
Oh, I was talking about the mean girl from the sorority.
I'm talking about the mean girl from the sorority.
okay.
The mean girl from the
Yeah.
mansion
That's Monet Mazur.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Monet, and she was in
Torque.
Torque, and also Brittany Murphy classic Just Married.
Yes.
Pretty much playing the exact same character.
Exactly. She was the older sister, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, Torque. Don't ask me how I know that.
Oh my God.
That poster is like imprinted on my mind.
Fun fact about Monet Mazur. Her siblings are named Matisse, Cézanne, and Miro.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm such like an expert of this time at Playboy that the character of Cassandra, played by Monet, has brownish hair.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would fly in the Playboy mansion. I think that Hugh was very particular that you have to be a blonde. And you can't just be any shade of blonde. You have to be platinum blonde. So, I guess suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. Well, and also when it showed Anna Faris having her own room, I'm like, girl.
Right.
Like, did you sleep with Hef? Because
because the gig was really only Kendra and what's her name?
I think a few of them would kind of come and go,
but not living there full time.
Not living there full time, and I feel like whoever was in the magazine, like the Playmate of the Month, would usually be living in the guest house
across the street.
Across the street where the circular bed was.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because I'm like, that's definitely creative licensing.
Yeah, they kind of made it like a sorority house. Like there was like a ton of girls living there. Like the mean girl, like the Monet Mazur character. Like, did she live there too? Like, I don't know. But yeah. Scott has a bone to pick with the casting of Colby, the cute boy, played by Tyson Ritter.
Oh.
Tyson Ritter's
delivery as the love interest for Emma Stone. This is not a professional actor. When you listen to this guy, I won't even say actor. This guy delivering his lines,
but he was so of the moment.
His look. Scott, you were even commenting on his look.
And the music, his band.
He was on the 90210.
All American Rejects was I'll Keep You My Dirty Little Secret, right? Okay.
Yeah. And that song's in the movie.
Okay. I mean, this movie is wall to wall with the 2000s hits that were on my iPod Nano at the time.
The Ting Tings?
Yep.
Two songs for
the Ting Tings.
Two of them.
And we get like a full Rihanna song.
So if back then, if there was a song that was free on iTunes for a week, it was in this movie.
Yeah.
Remember when they had the song that was free for a week?
They
were
you
usually good.
Yeah. Sometimes pick them up at Starbucks. Remember when Starbucks would have the card that you could download the free song
a
from?
Code on there. Yep. Tyson Ritter was in one episode of 90210, one episode of Smallville. He did House.
He was
a little
in
resume going on.
Yeah, he made the rounds.
He was in Miss You Already. I love Miss You Already.
All right.
With Toni Collette and Drew Barrymore.
Oh, okay.
But I do want to say, when it comes to his character and his friends, they're so freaking mean to them in the beginning.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like I'm turned off. Like I don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah. At what point is she just like so blinded by this like crush? She's like, okay, I'll go out with you. They were like, yeah, really rude.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Because it's like he's still hanging out with these dudes. Like maybe you're not going out with them, but he's friends with them. Like, come on. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I thought of that
maybe
too.
there was just too much going on in the script to introduce another love interest that would take All American Rejects' place.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There was just too much going on.
Yeah.
I just know when she accidentally squirted him with that water, and then he's like, actually, the guest list is full now. I'm like, in that moment, I would have been like, okay, we're done.
Yeah. Well, Natalie doesn't know any better. She's still a little goofy. I did also want to bring up Beverly D'Angelo and Christopher McDonald.
Beverly D'Angelo's character name?
Mrs. Hagstrom.
Mrs. Hagstrom.
Mrs. Hagstrom. And they call her that. It's not just it's written on the thing and they never say it. Oh, no, they say it. She's like, Mrs. Hagstrom. Oh, my God. No, there's some great lines in there. I mean, iconic. We're not running a brothel. Get out of here.
I'm not here to make soup.
Oh, I'm not here to make soup.
I love when she like shows up and Shelley's like holding the screwdriver and she like throws it.
Yeah. Yeah. She like scares her every time she walks into a room. Yeah. Shelley's like her playing like scared every time.
That's
like,
the thing
really
about
good.
the script and
Really
so many
funny.
comedies now that the screenplay has the jokes in it.
Yeah.
It has the jokes in it and it knows really when to rely on its actors. When the woman comes and says that, okay, there's this sorority, their house mother had a nervous breakdown, over a hallucinogen nervous breakdown, how Anna Faris says, awesome. Or like, what does she say? She's like,
I don't remember.
I think that's what she says.
awesome.
Yeah.
So funny though.
It definitely has like zingers. Like I caught myself like laughing out loud. And they've held up like over the years. I mean, this movie's 16 years old.
Yeah.
I mean,
and even the big jokes, like the brothel was in the trailer,
Right.
And like the steam in the manhole, and like holy shit, it's hot. Like still funny.
Like
We
you can
still laugh.
have all of the big TV spot moments,
Yeah.
but there's also jokes that
but also the little
that
things
you're not giving away in the
Yeah.
trailer. Yeah.
The little beats, like Mrs. Hagstrom constantly scaring her every time she walks in a room, and her reaction every time.
I'll
is-
never forget her hitting her head under the table and saying, "Sweet balls."
when she falls down at the date. Is it that one when she hits her
Yeah.
head? Yeah, and then comes up with the gum in the hair.
I mean,
the gum
this-
is a very happy Madison. That's a very Sandler.
I mean, this is some real movie
show.
making that you're making the Grove be a lovely place to just go and get dinner at.
With table service.
With table service.
With
I
waiters.
wish.
the food court at the food court at the farmers market. Yeah, that's a romantic dinner. You know, if you want it to be. I really liked, and I loved that Anna Faris just kind of went there with everything, from like the styling. Like she's wearing platform pleaser heels in every scene of this
Yeah.
movie.
The
And
fashion
she's
takes me
walking-
back.
She's walking across grass in pleasers. She's walking across grass in like wedge, like cork mules, like all of these like dangerous shit. Like I think in some of the shots, like you could see her kind of wobbling on her ankle in some of them, and like the mini skirts, and like she got like filler, like lip filler for the movie. Like I love that she kind of just decided, I'm going all in. Like I'm gonna play this Playboy, like. You know,
Anna has
this
a lot
Playboy
of muscle
model.
definition. Like Anna Faris
Her body's-
is a skinny girl, but
body's fucking
Shelley
slamming
has
this
some
movie.
like muscles on her.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, so for her to go, like, as you were saying, like, we were introduced to her through, like, Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Like, gross out humor.
Yeah.
For her to do this role, I mean, iconic. Like,
Yes.
she looked so good. Like, when she came out of the Mid-Wilshire Detention
Yeah,
Center.
yeah.
That outfit,
I mean,
the tennis skirt.
The white skirt.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yep.
I mean, she looked so good. Like that. I remember seeing the trailer for this movie and being like, "Oh my gosh!" Like,
Yeah.
she's not Cindy anymore.
No. Absolutely.
And then it bothers you when you go back and watch Scary Movie that we're so used to blonde Anna
Yeah.
that it's weird to see her with this dark hair.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And it's just
completely.
like straight and like laid, but like we want this big like back comb.
We want the blonde highlights.
We want the back combs like you know, cloud of hair.
As sexy as she is, she's still hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
Yes.
gosh. Like the way that she starred in this film. I mean, it was like a perfect casting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the other thing that I kind of mentioned it before, of like there are these memes of like what gay guys like and what straight guys like or whatever. And I mean, you would think this is a movie about like Playboy models and what's at the mansion, and there's Anna Faris running around like in these really short, but I don't know that a lot of straight guys are super into this movie. I think that like it really has a big gay following, and like yeah, we're just sitting here watching and appreciating all this like overt sexuality, and like the whole idea is that she's teaching these girls like to be sexier, and like she's walking around, you know, naked with a towel on her head and all that stuff, but it's like straight guys just don't know what they're missing. They don't like comedy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
And they
it's just a
also
girls'
don't
movie.
like makeover.
Right.
Montages.
Makeover montage.
Yeah.
How could you not like a
good
makeover
makeover
montage?
montage in this movie. Kat Dennings has a stacked. Her hair is just so many extensions in her hair.
Yeah.
And also,
I thought
there's
you-
some shots of Emma Stone where there is so much hair on her head.
Yeah. I mean, I thought you were going to talk about Kat Dennings' big naturals, but we can
Yeah.
talk about her hair too. Because Kat Denning was blessed.
They really had to hide those
They
in the baggy clothing in the beginning.
when she was punk. Yeah, when she was punk Mona. But I love the idea of Shelley going over her with the wand.
Yeah. We'll just leave that one in.
Take out all her piercings. It's like, oh my god.
We got to talk about
We'll just leave that one in.
when Shelley finds out that Natalie is a virgin, that throwing them the party, they're going to do a Playboy style party of
An Aztec party?
an Aztec party.
Yeah.
That this is some shit that could only be in a college movie.
But like they got some like Hollywood movie studio production value in this volcano that they built in the backyard of the Zeta house.
The backyard of the sorority house. I love it.
Who built this volcano?
That's not paper mache.
No.
Like, what is that?
No, this shit is nice.
She
They got
rented
like
that.
they got like Weta,
But
like
I love that,
engineers
though.
out here.
I love that Shelley's like, we always wanted to throw one at the mansion, but we never could find a virgin.
What is I think Natalie says, Emma Stone says at one point, like, we could both lose our virginity tonight.
And I think like
she's just like, yeah.
like her response with that shows
Yeah.
Anna Faris's like comedic chops.
Totally,
Like just
yeah.
in
Yeah.
her facial expression. Like, she's so funny.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, I mean, there's they're also really showing off how skilled they are at this comedic script. I mean, some of them more than others. You know, like we have our few that kind of are still working. There's a couple in there that were like, and who is she though? Scott was pointing out one of them was a cheetah girl.
Yes.
Kylie Williams.
The one that doesn't speak for the longest time. Yeah.
And she
was from 3LW.
3LW.
Which she was actually, I'm getting a little tired of your broken promises. That's her.
Okay. Promises. Okay, I know that one. 3 Little Women, and she's little.
Yep.
And
her name's Keeley.
American, right?
Not
like,
British.
Not British.
She's not British.
Yeah.
Couldn't have fooled me.
Yeah, could have fooled
Yep.
me. She did a serviceable British accent. I'm sure a real British person would be like, girl. But we were like, hey.
Yeah, she was known for her lisp, so it's shocking that she pulls off that British accent.
Yeah.
Like so well.
Interesting.
Maybe if she had more lines.
Right, yeah.
But no, I do think that all the kind of like characters that they create or that they wrote, like they all kind of fill a spot in this group, and even though some of them are a little bit more on up front than others, I think definitely Mona, the Kat Dennings character, and Joanne. Rumor Willis is they're kind of the ones that are more up front.
One of the other girls that's in the rival sorority, the brunette, she was in the Prom Night remake. You were just posting about the Prom Night remake from 2008.
I don't even remember her in that.
The one that pledged to be a Zeta at the very end?
With Brittany Snow.
Yeah, she was in the Prom Night remake. Okay.
Which is interesting because the All American Reject song was also in John Tucker Must Die.
Oh, jeez.
Which has Britney
Well, that was like the main theme of
Right.
John Tucker Must Die, right? It was all of the ad campaigns for it.
So going back to that whole era, like the 2000, I would say like 2004 to 2009 was such a weird time. I love to watch The Girls Next Door and Newlyweds at the same time and think, wow, this is all happening in like the same universe at the same time.
Okay, I just looked something up right now, and I think it needs to be addressed. There is a character that I wanted to talk about, this guy who worked at the mansion. And his whole thing was like he wants to be a bartender, and he's working with the Monet Major character to like oust Shelley.
He has those sensitive nipples.
And he's got those sensitive nipples. So I go and look him up. Owen Benjamin is his name. Owen Benjamin, okay, according to Wikipedia, Owen Smith, known professionally as Owen Benjamin, is an American conspiracy theorist, internet personality known for promoting white supremacy, anti-Semitism, homophobia, and neo-Nazism. He was a stand-up comedian and actor who had roles in mainstream film and television between 2008 and 2015. In the late 2010s, Benjamin began expressing more extreme political views. In 2019, he was banned from several mainstream social media platforms for violations of policies, including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. These include anti-Semitic, homophobic, and racist remarks.
Oh, no.
Yikes.
Well, it's probably good that
Yeah.
Owen did not really break through to a lot of the...
It was right after that. It was in...
it looks like he's in Jack and Jill, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
With anything Adam Sandler related.
Yeah, interesting. He's Jewish on his father's side. So, I mean, I'm thinking, maybe this was hacked and there's just some, like, somebody wrote this as revenge. But the more you look into it, this looks real. Yeah. So that guy's in this movie.
I would like
none
to
of us
see,
knew about that.
I would like to see any of the other Adam Sandler guys in this role, though.
Sure. You know who I think Nick Swartzen, who plays the photographer at the very end, he's really funny. He's Terry in Reno 911, the guy on the roller skates.
Could have been him.
The gay guy on the roller skates. He's really funny. He would have been good in it. You know, he could have really played up the whole like nipple kink thing really well. He's funny with that kind of stuff. Love Swartzen. But yeah, I don't know where this actor came from at the time.
I don't remember seeing him in anything else.
Same.
I don't remember seeing him in anything else either. His career, they're kind of not really even highlighting. What else? All's Fair in Love with Christina Ricci, 2009. And then he was on a sitcom for 2 years called Sullivan and Son on TBS. Yeah. Then he was on Punk'd, but it just says he appeared on Punk'd. It doesn't say in what capacity.
Well, they would have character actors do little bits.
Yeah, not be the ones
for
who
any of
were
the punk
punked.
stuff.
Yeah. And then it says he was a correspondent on Leno. And that's really it. So, yeah. So I guess that's all we have to say about about that guy. So we'll be skipping over our commentary on that character because there's really not much there anyway. So
Christopher McDonald.
We
love Christopher McDonald.
So we're in the middle of we're watching Hacks right now. We didn't watch it at all.
God,
this entire time.
Christopher McDonald has had such a career.
Right.
All of his work that he's done.
Did you watch Hacks?
I watched the first season.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we didn't watch any of it, and we just decided out of nowhere, we're like, let's just start it. We hear good things about it. So we started, we really like it. And yeah, he's a big character in that.
I love Christopher McDonald.
Yeah, and he does go kind of way back with Happy Madison. He was in Happy Gilmore, famously. And yeah, Thelma and Louise. Like, he's been working as long as we can remember. Grease 2.
Yeah.
So yeah,
love that guy.
We love Christopher McDonald.
I love at the end when he's like, no.
Yeah, because it's such a like movie cliche.
It's
the baby.
It's such a hacky
No.
bit. Yeah. We were also thinking of the finale of this movie that everybody has to go to this.
Right.
For this like sorority. Like everybody has to be involved with all of these votes.
And it's not very realistic that someone who's already in a sorority is able to just transfer to another one.
Sure. I don't think we're really supposed to think all that hard.
Oh, yeah. No, not at all. It's definitely a Happy Madison ending.
Sure.
It's very similar to many of their films. They kind of like wrap it up real quick.
Yeah. I found out this week Pete has never seen The Waterboy.
Oh.
Yeah, never got around to the one.
I was kind of shocked.
Wait, that's my biopic.
I was going to say, you're pretty much a gender swap version of First of All.
I really am, yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, I never got around to it. But I was thinking that the end of this movie, and I know it's completely not it at all, but I was just getting a lot of Legally Blonde 2 at the end of this movie. I don't know why.
Legally Blonde 2, the red, white, and blonde.
It does. It gets a little silly.
Yeah. I was like, what? Why am I thinking of Legally Blonde 2?
Speaking of which, is Legally Blonde 3 happening?
The last I heard, Mindy Kaling has written the script. I believe.
Oh, they got Mindy to do it.
I think so. I could be wrong, but
well, and aren't they doing like a television series on it
as well?
Didn't Reese post about something recently?
She was at like what was it?
Didn't she
Amazon?
Didn't she do some sort of a
announcement?
But in the character of Elle Woods.
Yes, she did. It was like where they were talking about their upcoming season, like all the shows that they were going to be having.
Okay, the upfronts.
And
or whatever.
I think it was Amazon. I don't think it was Apple.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
I wonder if a role like Shelley was first offered to Reese. Like, do you think that they really went there?
Well,
we're at least we're gonna send this your way.
I watched
an
interview
declined.
with Anna Faris, and she said she had kind of created some sort of foundation for this character years prior. So I'm wondering, with you saying that they shopped the script around first, I'm wondering if she went to the screenwriters and were like, "Hey, I kind of have this character in mind. Girls Next Door is a huge hit right now.
Yeah,
we need to.
Move. Well, I guess I did say that she kind of workshopped this character that it was supposed to be a little darker.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I had read
then the
what
writers
you were
kind of, and then the writers kind of went with
that
it.
she kind of created.
Yeah, and with Girls Next Door would have been at its height at this point. Like it was.
Think
like
that
huge
the Girls Next Door episode with the House Bunny. I believe it's season 4.
Okay.
And season 4 is when really stuff starts to wind down with the girls next door. Because I think it's about halfway
all have one
through
foot out the
the
door.
airing of that season, it was announced that Holly and Hugh broke up. And I think that season was still airing as we were watching it, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So the House Bunny never got like shitty direct-to-DVD like sequels.
Shocking that it never did.
Like
Legally Blonde.
And here's Shelley's cousin from like out of town. You know.
You know, a few years ago, though, I think House Bunny was having like this resurgence around its 10-year anniversary, like pre-pandemic. And Anna Faris was on Watch What Happens Live.
I just watched the clip of that today.
And she said that she had always wanted to do a sequel.
Okay.
For this.
She said Shelley becomes a country singer.
Oh,
on Watch What Happens Live, which
love
I would
it.
like that
Yeah.
to see her going out to Nashville to be a singer.
And just be about her. She doesn't need to fix anyone. Like, just
Sure,
let it be her.
yeah, just her rise to fame. Come on, yeah, I love that.
But I want it to be like a coal miner's daughter story of that she goes to Nashville to be a country singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why does this movie only have 43% on Rotten Tomatoes?
I think that
I think if they reevaluate it.
Sure,
today-
I think the critical reception of this movie, I think a lot of straight movie critics did not get it.
It's got a B+ cinema score for our audience.
Yeah.
So
I'll just never
take
forget
that.
my mom's friend took like her 8th grade daughter and her friends.
Uh-huh.
And like the next like week, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just can't get over how dirty it was." I was like, "It was about the Playboy mansion. Like, what did you expect?"
What were you thinking?
Like, yeah, there were gonna be jokes that were a little.
I mean, it wasn't even that bad, like we were saying. Like, what's the worst of it? Like the eyes or the nipples of the face?
Her trying to give the blowjob to the cop.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
I
say.
forgot about that part.
Yeah.
She was like, "Okay."
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Speaking of which, the car door opening and the alarms going off.
You
the
laughed every
barking.
time.
Every time. It's funny every time. It's so, and that is such a Happy Madison joke. That is like Sandler and those guys. Don't forget, every time she opens that car door, you gotta have alarms in the distance. In the distance, dogs barking. You know. 'Cause
Well,
it's so
going
fucking
back
loud.
to the gum that you said was a Happy Madison joke, I think at one point, like, it wasn't supposed to unstick, but it
Sure.
did, and it hit her. And
Yeah.
you can kind of tell, like, she just keeps going with it.
And it's real, like, gum under the table, still that gooey. Come on, it dries up like so fast. It's so stupid, but it's just like it works. And the fact that it does break off and like snaps back, and oh god, so good. Yeah, stupid little jokes like that are just like, I guess on paper they sound dumb, but like as we're watching it, it's so funny.
It's
That's
funny.
That's
Yep.
what we remember about this movie.
It almost gives me that humor of, like, the nanny, like the zingers. So, yeah, I would have loved to have seen a sequel with this character. It's kind of a little bit of a missed opportunity.
Which I think
like
it made
a proper sequel.
I think it made
Yeah.
decent money too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it probably grossed back its budget.
Yeah.
And especially with it being PG-13, like I was saying, like, everyone could
Its
go see
appeal
it.
could be pretty broad.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it made $48 million. Not bad.
Wow. Yeah. Off of a $6 million budget.
This was also a time that I feel like we would get a silly movie like this every August. That also, is that really a thing anymore? Are kind of broad, stupid comedies like this in theaters kind of a big late summer tentpole thing?
Right.
Kind of taking advantage of the last few weeks of young kids going to movies.
Another movie that reminds me of what you're saying would be like The Love Guru, and that was horrible.
The Love Guru was also summer of 2008.
That was horrible. And so, like, I know what you're saying, but I'm like, maybe we're better off.
Sure. Original comic. Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say, if they were going to remake this today, I would love to see, like, Sydney Sweeney in the main role,
Sure.
maybe.
Can she do comedy? We'll see. You know,
I mean, Sydney Sweeney has some big old knockers.
she does have big naturals, but
She has-
that would be the
she has
Kat
some-
Dennings
She
character.
has some big naturals, yeah. Mhm.
She would be the Kat Dennings character.
But I feel like if they were going to, like, remake something or make something similar to this, they would put her in this role.
Okay, I like it. Yeah.
Do you remember if Anna Faris had any type of a pictorial in Playboy? I don't think that she did.
I don't think she
post
did either.
this?
She was just really naked and loving other drugs. Did you see that?
I did see Love and Other Drugs. I don't remember her in it.
Yeah, she was. Anne Hathaway?
Didn't everybody get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Anne Hathaway. You mean
Everyone
Anna
gets.
Faris.
Oh, I was talking about I was talking about Anna Faris. Did I say Anne Hathaway?
Oh, maybe you
know.
did.
Oh, crap. I'll have to cut that out.
No, I don't know if you said it. I think that you maybe thought he said it. But, yeah, I was going to say, didn't everybody get naked in Love and Other Drugs? I was like,
Well, I don't think Anna Faris had done any nudity up until that point. She was in a cult film right before a few years before this called May.
I love May.
That I love. Yeah, I love May.
Who's the main actress from May?
Fucking May.
What's her name?
That goddamn DVD case. Yeah, that was something that I would see. I think that was around the time
She was in Girl
working at
Interrupted.
Blockbuster.
God, what is her name?
Well, let's look it up. We both have computers.
Because there for a moment, Anna Faris was trying to do kind of like this indie darling type.
She was
route.
in a.
Right,
she
right,
was
right.
in the Gregor Rocky movie.
Smiley face.
Smiley
face.
face.
Yeah. Angela Bettis.
Angela Bettis.
that
Yeah,
is that May?
that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah. I remember Smiley Face, and I remember thinking it was very different entry from Gregor Rocky.
Which was probably the point.
Yeah, and I still liked it. I was like, this is cute.
Yeah.
You know, and I was glad that she was in it because I was like, I really like her. You know, I was like, okay, I don't know how invested I'm going to be in like a weed movie, but I enjoyed it when I saw it. I haven't seen it since then, so I don't know. If I were to see it today, I'd be like, this is trash. But
Yeah.
at the time, I thought, cute. Liked it.
Well, she also did a film called Southern Belles.
Okay.
And it was kind of like an indie movie.
Okay.
So
Don't remember
I
that
think she has like this kind of unusual career where like she'll do these indie pictures like over here.
Right.
And then she'll do like one big comedy.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Lost in Translation.
Really good in Lost in Translation.
The
also,
same year as Scary Movie
Also
3.
Brokeback Mountain too.
Yeah.
And just a little bit role.
Funny,
Kinda knocks
really
it out of the
funny,
park.
Really funny
Yeah.
and Brokeback. You know, some much needed laughs in that movie.
I was going to say the nude scene in this movie, I guess, was a big deal because they initially prepped it with a stand-in body double. Something happened with the body double, and it was a very last-minute thing that she just said, well, I'll just go ahead and do it.
That's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah. But I guess it's
the way
Anna, though.
the way the girl screams, it's on the staircase.
And then she just walks off to the side of the screen.
I think that she
that
kind
little
of
scream
reasoned
was
with
really
herself
funny.
that she didn't want to do it, but she says that this is just very in the character of Shelley. So she kind of felt like maybe I need to actually be in this scene.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's the voice of Jeanette in Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Jeanette
is the lady squirrel. That's the Simon.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jeanette's the
with
Simon
glasses?
Yeah,
is
she's
the
the one
is
with
the
the
Simon Chipmunk.
Yeah, because Brittany is the cute Alvin Chipette that looks like Tamar Braxton, and then Jeanette is that one, and then
Eleanor.
the fat Theodore one is Eleanor. Yeah, yeah, you got it.
And it's crazy. After she went on to do Mom and was on that for
Yeah.
like 6
Yes.
seasons.
On it for years.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
And
it probably
good for
it
her.
probably, like,
man.
got her a really nice house in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
too.
7 seasons on a network sitcom with Alice and Janney. Like,
I mean, she got that.
Take it.
She's got that Chuck Lorre money.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is, I guess, good work if you can get it.
Yeah. And you know, I never was a huge fan of Mom. I would always
Right,
watch
same.
like 2.5 Men
Yeah.
and like the other shows that Mike and Molly. So by the time Mom came out, I was kind of over that type of humor
Sure.
and that like setup.
Yeah.
But I've been watching reruns, I think on CMT, and it's like really funny.
Okay.
Like she's really good at
I mean,
it.
I trust the two of them. So, like,
And it's the dynamic is that
Yeah.
she's kind of the straight man of the group. Like she's the daughter that has
Oh, I
all
don't
of her
know.
shit together,
I don't know anything
and
about it.
her mother is kind of like the party girl, right?
Yeah, I think they're both like recovering.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
interesting because it's really funny, but then there are pretty dramatic moments as well. And
Sure.
she does really good going back and forth.
Okay. She plays slightly similar to Shelley in her episodes on Friends. She's the
that's like late season Friends.
season 10.
Yeah,
She was
Season
the
10.
surrogate.
She's Monica and
I
Chandler's
totally
surrogate.
forgot about that.
Yeah, and she's just kind of a space cadet like character, and like she picks a couple, and the agency tells Chandler and Monica that she picks them, but they're not the couple that she picked. And so they like lie because they really like her and they want the baby. And so there's a moment where she's like, "Oh, you lied," but then she comes around, and then the rest of it is just like funny, quirky, stupid girl.
I mean,
But
that's a pretty big role though for that show.
It is. It's because it's an iconic role because it's the whole idea of those two, and they're like, you know, parenthood like issues. They're conceiving, you know.
Well, she also was in The Hot Chick, like you were saying, and
Yeah.
that character is very similar as well.
I never saw The Hot Chick. Did I? Wait, which one?
I haven't seen The Hot Chick since it came out.
Oh, that's
body swapping movie.
I own
Rob
it.
Schneider swaps bodies with Rachel McAdams.
We'll watch it.
Bring it over.
Is it a Happy Madison production?
Yeah,
I
think it
mean,
is.
Schneider.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Happy Madison.
Okay, wow.
Touchstone.
But yeah, she's kind of like a similar character in that, but she's not in it as much. Like,
Okay.
she's not the main star. But like her and Rachel McAdams are both in it, so. And Rachel McAdams is like hilarious in that. Too.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, she plays the best friend of Rachel McAdams' character. Okay, I see. Interesting. Yeah, I never got around to watching that one either. I watched the shit out of Deuce Bigalow, though.
I feel like we still sort of quote Deuce Bigelow around this house.
I mean, yeah.
I freaking love that movie. I saw it in theaters.
I did. Too.
I was like 7.
I was not.
I should not have been seeing that in theaters.
No, it's about a male gigolo.
It was so good though.
Yeah, but oh my god, yeah.
Did you see The House Bunny?
I did.
In
Opening
theaters?
weekend.
Yeah.
Opening
I didn't
weekend.
quite see it opening weekend, but I went with my friend who I would watch The Girls Next Door with. That we did see it in the theater.
Yeah, and you know, again, it was during that time where I remember it being like sold out. Like
Sure.
it was
Kind of
Yeah,
a packed
yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was back in the days when like people would actually like go to the movies, like you were saying, for like just a random comedy in the summer.
And waiting in a line like outside the movie theater going, yeah. I was just trying to think of his name, but in Deuce Bigalow, Eddie Griffin just constantly eating in the hot tub and the food falling into the water.
And it's like floating by. Oh my
It's like a
gosh.
tomato on his chest.
And he picks it up and eats it.
And me and my friend Jose, every time he's in the hot tub, we just look at each other in the theater and started dying and laughing. Like, no, why? He's like eating an ice cream cone in the fucking hot tub.
I want
So
to talk.
stupid.
I want to talk a little bit about the fashions of this movie. That this is the type of fashions that I can get on board with Gen Z doing. Millennium fashions. I'd be down to see a girl walking down the street just dressed like Shelley
Yeah, same.
in the little skirt and a little top.
Well, if you go to Dolls Kill, you may actually be able to, because they've got a few of those like skirts.
Oh, yeah.
So we were watching an episode of The Girls Next Door. I think that it was the dog birthday party episode, and Bridget was walking around in a Ellie Mae top and sort of a peasant skirt,
A boho,
and, like a boho skirt,
a maxi skirt,
but
like,
she
yeah.
was kind of a serve.
It was a serve.
like
Oh.
she looked beautiful in it.
Yeah.
Like Slay. No, she was always a serve.
But this full Beverly Hillbillies. I don't want to be like the Unwashed Matches and say like a picnic print, a gingham print, like a little gingham print top.
Yeah.
It was super cute.
Well, there's a video of Anna Faris talking about all her film roles on YouTube, and she still has some of the shoes
I love
from
it.
this movie
Love
that
it.
were gifted to her. And they're
She's
like
the
so
pleasure.
She is
tall.
standing. She is standing on her car, doing. It's a car wash, and she is in those heels.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, don't fall over.
No, but it's the scene when she gets out of the Mid Wilshire police station and she sits on the sidewalk and she has to put her feet at this crazy angle because the heel is so long in the platform. And then when she sees the girls talking and she's just like, oh, and I love the shot in her little compact, the mirror. It's just this like effect shot. It's great. But she gets up and walks across the little bit of grass on the sidewalk and I'm like, don't fall.
And she's always got like her hands out like this.
But I think she has to because like she takes these tiny little steps just because of the shoes. It's just like this little walk that she has with a hand out.
It's so funny.
And the little baby
I never
steps.
thought about her funny little walk, that it was just kind of a practical
I
thing.
think it's just
with
yeah.
Anna walking in those little pleasers.
Have you seen that girl on TikTok who runs in the pleasers?
No.
Oh my God. Have you seen her?
I have not.
I have to find it. I'll text Jacob right now. He loves her.
That makes me a nervous wreck.
Oh my God. It's wild. And she does these things in the street, like on asphalt in the street. And it's just all she does is like, okay, time me, and like running from the cops or whatever. And it'll be her, and like she'll have like a guy do it with her, or like just like a random girl. And she's like like a TikTok hoe or whatever, so she's like clacking the heels, but she's running like the cops are chasing her, and she does not fall. She does not skip a beat. I'm like, damn, this bitch, like, cheers. Like, she's working it out. I'm gonna find her. And I'm on the Dolls Kill website right now, and oh baby, this stuff is great.
Oh no, when she walks out of that mid-wheel shirt, police. I know I keep bringing it up.
Yeah, no, it's great.
But if I was a girl,
The look is amazing.
that's exactly
Super
what I
cute.
would wear
Yeah.
to work.
Was the skirt tiered? I think it was a tiered skirt, like it was white with like two little
Yes.
tiers, and it's so short. But yeah, I love it. I'm gonna find it in the.
I
in the
wonder what
images.
her workout routine was before filming this.
Her body was
Because
fucking amazing
it was
in this movie.
on point.
yeah.
And like when Shaq picks her up
oh my god.
to blow out the candle.
Yeah.
And they like bunny nose each other.
Yes. Yeah. That shit is so funny because she's like, that's just a funny joke that this cake is so big and she tries to blow out the candle, and just look at her face when she sees the cake. She's just like, oh, she does really good like face work, like face acting of just
Yes.
like how everything is just like, she's so wide-eyed in this movie. Everything is just, oh my god. I love it. So good. She's so good.
Yeah.
I'm glad she got away from, what's his name?
Chris Pratt.
Oh, you know.
Were they
It's fine.
together while this was being filmed?
I don't know if they were together while this was being
I think
filmed.
that they got really together in probably the last few years of Parks and Rec, probably in like around 2010, 2011.
Okay. Because see, I don't remember him even being in many things. Like
I
I,
mean,
feel
he
like
was
when
in
they got together,
The
she was
first
a
thing that
bigger
I ever
star.
saw him in was Jennifer's Body.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. And I remember him in Unwanted.
The OC.
The OC, that's right. Well, and also he's in the season of the OC that no one gives a shit about. He's in the last season.
Right, because it's like, what's her name's in college.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's a season where Summer
goes to
Summer goes to the art
Brown.
school that
She goes to Brown and she meets a hippie college kid, and he's played by Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Wanted. I said Unwanted, but it was Wanted.
Oh,
Which
with
one?
Angelina Jolie.
He's
Sure.
in that?
Yeah.
Is that the one where she whips the bullets?
The bullet
Yeah.
curves. Yeah. That was summer of 08.
It shows his butt in that too.
Ooh, all right.
I was looking at Anna Faris was nominated for Best Comedic Performance
I
at
saw
the
it. I don't
MTV
remember.
Movie Awards. Do you want to take a
As
guess
she
of
should.
who was in Best Comedic Performance in 2008
Oh, I wouldn't be
for the
able to-
MTV Movie Awards?
I wouldn't be able to remember. 2008?
Surely not Mike Myers for Love Guru.
Love Guru is not there.
Okay.
Okay, so the category is Amy Poehler and Baby Mama. I love Amy Poehler.
Funny and Baby Mama.
Baby
Super
Mama
funny
was
and,
good.
and Baby
Yeah.
Mama. James Franco and the Pineapple Express. And Steve Carell in Get Smart. Anna Faris for The House Bunny. And everybody loses to Jim Carrey and Yes Man. Did Jim Carrey really need
Yes
another
Man.
MTV Movie Award? I think you can give it to either Anna Faris or Amy Poehler.
And Yes Man was a good movie, but I mean, it wasn't The House Bunny.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even Baby Mama.
Yeah, no, her Amy Poehler and Baby Mama is so funny. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about her, about Shelley's looks in this movie. I think I might have found an image of. Is this what she's wearing at the middle wheelchair?
It sure is.
Yeah, it's on Reddit. What do we think of her Miss November retro skateboard like outfit?
I mean, this is a Playboy spread. She's going to have to loose that top.
Them cans would have been out
Yeah.
on full display.
It's so funny. When we were watching a Girls Next Door episode, it was Kendra, Holly, and Bridget doing their individual pictorials that kind of reflect their personality. And there was just something kind of crazy about Kendra doing hers with football pads, tube socks, and nothing else. That it looked crazy.
It was a football jersey that they just cut.
Yeah.
From the
like
titties.
The cut of the football jersey looked wild. But yeah, and just topless.
Yeah, and no pants.
And do you
Forgot
have
her
the
pants.
DVDs?
No, and they
what you want?
Okay, I have the DVDs.
They don't censor them.
They don't censor anything.
I had copies of the
Really?
DVDs.
Oh my
yep.
God.
So imagine my surprise
Yeah.
watching it on
And
E,
you see like
where
and
everything's
you see
blurred.
like full vagina.
You
I was
see
gonna
everything.
You see
say,
everything.
They're like puss out in those movies.
And I'm always wanting to like because I rewatch Girls Next Door all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm always wanting to like film some clips of it and post it on Instagram on my story. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't.
Right.
There's family on my
my
Instagram.
God.
And there was just something about how when they did nudity on the Girls Next Door that it was kind of mischievous of when you would see Kendra like walking around without her top.
Yeah.
Like it was like a kid running around their house naked.
Yeah.
Right.
Justin, did you write this Reddit thread here? Anyone have a clue on which brand this top and skirt are that Anna Faris wore in the House Bunny? And someone says, the skirt is Hollister, but it was altered to be even tinier, and the top is custom. So there you go.
Okay, I didn't want you to tell everyone that I had posted that, but now that you have.
Redditor, okay, _ This is your secret Reddit.
But I did want to say, going back to the blurring, they were not told that it would be uncensored on the DVDs.
Sure.
Oh,
And so they were filming all these
interesting.
scenes thinking, well, it'll be blurred.
Yeah.
And then the DVD's released, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, you didn't even tell me.
That's funny. Somebody also in this thread says that it's the custom top is most likely from Trashy Lingerie, who did most of the costuming in this movie. Trashy Lingerie on La Cienega.
They're still open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're right next door to Largo. Or like a block away from Largo.
I feel like a character like Shelley and Cosmo Queen of Melrose would really get along. If Shelley were to walk into Cosmo Queen of Melrose's shops at this time.
Yeah. He'll give her some hours.
Yeah.
Like you could be a third key. You won't be the assistant manager, but you'd be third key holder. You could open up the shop. You could close on days I don't want to stay late. Yeah, I think so. We have to go to Cosmo Queen of Melrose shop.
I'm surprised that you just didn't know who Cosmo Queen of Melrose was with all of you guys running around doing stuff.
When I see images, because they have T-shirts of like them in the 90s, and I feel like I know that face.
They own like numerous vintage shops around Melrose at the time.
It's just the one. I mean, they might have at the time, but yeah, now it's just the one, and it looks wild. But we'll check it out. We'll go say hi to Cosmo. Take him a pack of cigarettes.
Are you familiar with Cosmo Queen of Melrose?
And an,
okay,
an oxygen mask?
Very much so.
But I think that Shelley would have definitely shopped at Trashy Lingerie. And probably...
okay, so is Trashy Lingerie on... Is it La
Cienega?
Okay, La Cienega right by Largo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Right by like the Beverly Center and all that?
Yeah.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah.
I feel like she would have went there and then afterwards went to like Red Robin.
Sure.
In 2008, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you see them go there on the Girls Next Door?
No, but you do in Newlyweds, which it's the same universe.
Sure, absolutely.
I feel like we got rid of our Newlyweds DVD when we moved.
Oh,
We had the first season of Newlyweds on DVD, and I think that we gave it away.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't make
won it at a party.
It didn't make it through the move.
Yeah, Newlyweds,
I feel like that whole era of like reality TV is like peak for me.
All of this era of
Anna
ETV.
Nicole.
Yeah.
Anna Nicole. Well, they didn't know what they were doing. They were like forging a new frontier in like television. They were literally creating reality as we know it today.
I mean,
right?
I remember when I lived in a little duplex house in Missoula, I paid for basic cable at the time that I got a deal with the college, so it was like $20 and you got like 50 channels. And I just remember all of the television programming at that time. Girls Next Door, Chelsea Handler. So I would watch Chelsea Handler like every night. Denise Richards' It's Complicated. And this was around the time Dina Lohan had a reality show. Yep. Mm-hmm. And it was the big thing is Lindsay going to do it? And I don't think that she ever did. Yeah.
She waited for that Oprah Winfrey Network.
Oh, we watched every episode of that.
That was a docuseries.
Yep. We watched every episode of that.
And Lindsay Lindsay constantly referred to it as a documentary. Oh. I think she was under the impression that it was going to be like a film. Like, not a series, not TV.
But yeah, all of the television programming at that time was fire.
It really was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's sad, too, that, as soon as Holly, Bridget, and Kendra were gone, like, I can't get through that last
It just kind of
season.
fizzled out.
I can't do it.
They kept doing it without them?
Well,
They did one
and
more
that was
season.
when they introduced Crystal.
What the hell for?
Right.
And Crystal, who ended up marrying Hugh. And I remember when they introduced Crystal on The Girls Next Door, and we were all just like, "Oh shit! Like this is who replaced Holly."
Right. Well, and then Holly got her own spinoff as well as
Holly's World.
Yeah,
I loved Holly's World.
Yeah. But I mean, Kendra got her own spinoff too, and it kind of eventually went to when E canceled all their reality.
Is her real estate agent show still a thing
I don't think
on
it is
Max?
anymore.
It didn't make it past the season.
It did 2 seasons.
It didn't quite make it
2 seasons
from the Max transition from like all the Discovery Plus stuff to Max.
Right. I think there's 2 seasons. I think the second season came out after that merge.
I mean, they always talk about that, and Holly writes about it, of the big thing with leaving the Playboy Mansion, and kind of the thing with Shelley in this movie is, what are you going to do? Like, you don't really have a lot of money, because it's not like they're giving you thousands of dollars as an allowance, the mansion. Like, you're pretty much just living there and living under Hugh's rules, and a lot of them just, I think that they got to the point where it was really hard to move out. And, like, what were you going to do? What were you going to do with your life?
Right, yeah. Well, I read Holly's book, and I think she had moved in right around the time of September 11th. So, like, that was already like, well, here's an opportunity for me to stay somewhere because everything's so scary right now.
Yeah.
Like, especially in a big city like LA. Because I think she had said that her roommate situation fell through. She was needing to find a new place. And so then once you've been there a few years, it is like, what's next? Like, what do I do?
And you don't want to piss off Hugh Hefner too much, because he was a very powerful man at that time in Los Angeles, that he could make it that you could not work anywhere in the city, probably.
Exactly. And the fact that she went on to Las Vegas and did Peep Show, like, what I would give to have been able to see that. Oh, my gosh.
I remember driving to Las Vegas a lot at that time and seeing the ads on the freeway for.
And
for
she
Holly.
was at Planet Hollywood, right? I think it was
don't
Planet
know.
Hollywood that they would do Peep Show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do either of you remember a blog? Okay, so this is kind of like this era, you know.
Blog culture was huge.
Blog culture was huge.
Yep.
With
Snarky blog culture.
Perez.
Yep.
Go fuck yourself, Perez Hilton. I'm not a fan, never was. But I did like Pink is a New Blog, and I definitely liked
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, Trent Venegas.
Yep.
From Pink is a New Blog. But I definitely love the girls at Go Fug Yourself. Fugly is a New Pretty. I don't know if you read their
Oh, I love
their
them.
blog.
I love them when they would do their red carpet tweets.
So they have a whole thing on the premiere of this, and so they're at the premiere of the House Bunny, and they're just everybody that's there: Amber Heard, Sofia Vergara, Khloe Kardashian, in bunny ears.
Oh,
just a little freakum dress. She's fine, but Catherine McPhee and Colin, but yeah, and Emma Stone's shoes, close up on Emma's shoes. But I was like, oh man, this blog is still up. I didn't know it was still there.
Yeah, they haven't scrubbed that yet.
A lot of them got shut down, and I thought that they had sold they sold it to like Women's Wear Daily or something. I thought that they sold it to somebody, but I guess the archive is still up. But yeah, so there's at the premiere of the House Bunny. In again, what year did we say this is?
2008.
2008.
So, August of 2008.
Yeah. So, I was very big on the blogs back then. I thought these girls, their names were Jessica and something else, but they were really funny.
Yeah, I love
their
to read their commentary on red carpet stuff for award shows.
Yes, that was how they got started. They would just do recaps of red carpets, and they were just snarky, and it was originally called Fugly is a New Pretty, and then it changed to Go Fug Yourself, because the whole thing was like all these dresses are ugly. And they like hated Maggie Gyllenhaal and Chloe Sevigny because they were just like the grand dames of ugly dresses.
Grandma chic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that a pink carpet?
It is a pink carpet, yeah.
Oh my god. Does it say where the premiere was?
I have to look it up.
I bet it was Chinese Theater.
Yeah. I'll have to look it
I
up.
don't know if... So I was visiting LA at this time, that I don't know if it was being shown at the Chinese Theater. I remember definitely seeing
You
a
would remember
poster.
that? How
I
the
remember seeing a
hell?
poster of the House Bunny when Genevieve and I went to Tropic Thunder. But I don't think that it had opened yet. I think that we got into Tropic Thunder early, I think. We got into a press screening of it.
Okay.
So Tropic Thunder was the same year.
It's the same.
Wow.
It beat it at the box office. I believe that House Bunny got the bigger Friday gross, and then Tropic Thunder, I think, came up from behind and took the weekend. Wow, this red carpet picture of Ashton, Demi, and Rumor.
Bruce is there too.
Bruce is there. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. They're all the girls.
They're all
are there.
there.
All the girls are there, and Bruce is there with. I don't know if this is his current wife. I think it is. But yeah, they all went with Ashton.
What a moment.
The picture's blurry. IMDb. What the hell? But that's Scout, and that's Tallulah, and that's Rumor, and then that's Bruce's wife. I don't know who that blonde guy is.
And honestly, when that back brace came off,
I mean,
it was a slay.
Like she looks, her run Forrest run moment.
I know, like we're going down every character. I'm like, she looks so good, but
Yeah.
Rumor Willis looked so good.
She did.
Did you watch season 1 of The Masked Singer with Rumor?
I didn't.
She was good.
Season 1 that she was on?
I think she was on season 1. I think that The Lion was season 1. She was good on The Masked Singer.
She was really good on The Masked Singer. Yeah, we were like, when is her album going to drop? Because she's like great. We love it. Look at Demi. Look how happy she looks with Ashton.
Wow.
Kind of when you look back at Ashton and Demi now, they look totally normal. And like and I
if
know
you look
that
at the two of them
everybody
together,
kind of sold it as a May-December couple, but
they don't look crazy.
Demi
next to
looks
each other.
incredible.
Yeah. Like in 2008.
Yeah.
God, how old was she?
She looks
even
in her late 30s, if even that.
No, I mean, she's actually probably 45
Yeah,
here.
but what I'm saying is
she
that
looks like
she looks like a woman in her late 30s.
Yeah.
But like you said, it was that time during the blogs, and they were so
They were harsh.
mean.
They
Oh
were
my
mean.
gosh,
They were mean. Yeah.
That was like one of those final eras of like where bullying
yeah.
was like, hey,
Online,
let's
yeah.
all bully.
Yeah. I mean, Perez was the worst because he would like do the thing where he would like draw circles
Right.
around things.
He
and
said
arrows
very
and,
horrible
like,
things about Brittany Murphy, and I
Yeah.
can't. Like,
And Misha
I've
Barton.
never forgiven Perez for
I
a
can't
lot
get
of the
over it.
stuff he said. Yeah.
We were just talking about Misha Barton earlier. He would go in on,
on
Misha
Misha.
Barton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
those
It-
poor girls.
Yeah. It was bad. It was bad.
Well, and you know what else is interesting is when we were talking about the reality television of this time,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting because this was like the transitional period. Once this ended, the next thing was the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
this is when they were starting.
Yes.
Yep.
And so they would then, kind of rule for the next like decade.
Yeah. It was at the Westwood.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Over by UCLA. Yeah, it's interesting that, and even when you watch those early seasons of the Kardashians and the Housewives, they feel so much like different. They just feel like some dude is in their house with a camera. Like,
Yeah,
like
right.
now they're so produced and so beautiful.
And I miss
looking.
that about shows like
Yeah.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians, is
Yeah.
that there was kind of a
Everything was
charm to
fun
those
to
early
watch.
seasons.
Yeah.
Do you remember what a huge, speaking of Playboy, in the season 1 episode where Kim posed for Playboy, and it was just a whole roundabout with Chris and Kim.
Chris
of-
with the camera. You're doing
Chris
great,
with the
sweetie.
camera, you're doing great, sweetie. Of that, just kind of Chris just kind of selling on Kim of like, this is Playboy.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a huge honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of why would you not want to take your top off for Hugh Hefner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since you've already done it for Ray J.
And his cameras.
I feel like this premiere is probably the end of an era of
It
that. It
is.
was quickly transitioning at that time with Playboy.
For Playboy, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
had a cameo in what, Scary Movie 4 with Charlie Sheen?
Yes, it's 4.
Okay. I don't know if that was the same year or if it was the year prior.
I'll have to look that one up.
But yeah, they were kind of like right at the top, and then all of a sudden it's like it just changed overnight.
Yeah.
Well, and they talk, I think that Holly talks about in the book of how little money that they were making at this time, of what huge stars they were, but what were they making off?
Well, without
off the
without
television
social
series?
media for them to become
Yeah.
the stars that the Kardashians have become, why are the networks going to offer them that money?
Right.
It's like
Kendra had a MySpace. I think that was it at the time.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's also sad because they've talked in the past about how when the new president of E took over, it was very much like, we're getting rid of these trashy shows.
Sure.
But then they like propped up Keeping Up with the Kardashians,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's trashy, but it's the same.
How is it different?
realm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Kim's posing for Playboy.
Yep.
And so it's just sad because, like you were saying, there was so much charm
Yeah.
with these girls. Like, it was reality television kind of like in the beginning when it really was someone with a camera just walking around
Yeah.
and seeing how you go day to day. And
Yeah.
maybe it was a little bit produced, but I think the girls next door, like Holly, Bridget, Kendra, they had this like star power.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was a reality show, but there was something about them that like we really
something
cared.
compelling about
Yeah.
each of them. Yeah.
I was always very fascinated with Holly, and I was telling Pete that I grew up going to Alaska a lot, and we would go to Southeast Alaska. So we would go to Prince of Wales Island, and Holly is from Prince of Wales Island. That when I found out where she was from, she's from Craig, Alaska, this teeny little town on Prince of Wales Island that we would go to when we needed to go to the grocery store. That's where Holly was from. And I think that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like small.
They
town
go there
girl.
on the Girls Next Door, and Kendra has like a panic attack in the float plane. And I grew up doing that, so I'm like, oh yeah, girl, I get it. Those float planes are fucking scary.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that episode now that you talk about it.
This director, by the way, Fred Wolf,
He did Grown Ups.
he wrote Black Sheep. He wrote
Yeah.
Dirty Work. He worked a lot with Farley on SNL. He did a lot of comedy writing, and he
Fred
started
Wolf.
out as a stand-up. And so that's why I was like, I know this guy. Where do I know this guy? Because he was in all those 80s like stand-up specials. So yeah, he's got a lot of writing credits. And I mean, it's mostly the Sandler crew, Farley, Spade,
I
all
mean,
those
good
guys.
work if you can get it.
Norm Macdonald.
They'll keep you around if they like you.
But these are good movies,
Yeah.
though. I mean,
I love Grown Ups. I know, like, I think a lot of people don't really care for those.
the
two
first
films,
Grown
but
Ups
I
is
love
good.
Grown
The
Ups.
first Grown Ups is funny. Like, I really like it.
And it's funny too how like the House Bunny is so a Happy Madison film, but it
Yeah.
also stands out
Totally.
to me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like something kind of different. I guess because
Yeah.
it's like all female cast.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like we were saying, kind of for the gays.
Well,
Yeah.
especially at this time where comedy could be so boy-driven,
Yeah.
that I like Happy Madison. We're still kind of thinking about the girls and the gays at the time, even though maybe they weren't really thinking of we're going to make this empowering girl movie. They were probably just seeing we can make money off of an Anna Faris vehicle, but look what we got. We got the House Bunny.
Right.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
doesn't feel mean-spirited
No,
at all.
not at all.
No, yeah. The one thing that we're watching this movie and we're like, how is this bitch rewriting these karaoke lyrics as the song is coming on the screen? What kind of technology does this girl have? Is she in the
Is it Catherine
engineering program?
Is it Catherine McPhee's best scene? Maybe.
She gets to sing
What makes me mad is she sings it to the exact tune of Like a
Right.
Virgin. I'm like, girl.
as if
you-
she had read the lyrics. Yeah.
So you know the melody, but you don't know the lyrics?
Yeah.
Okay. Strike one.
Yeah. But I mean, no. But even with the mean characters, they just come off as like a little, college movie sorority fraternity trope of like they're the mean girls and
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, it's not a mean spirited movie. It's funny, and I think that maybe if like straight guys are like, oh, that's a girl movie or whatever, because there's I think to this day there's the like women aren't funny.
Women aren't funny.
Kind
Yeah.
of argument from a lot of men and male comedians and all that. But I don't know. I think this movie kind of shows like this shit is fucking funny, dude. And I don't know. Maybe there's an argument in there that because it's backed by so many of the Sandler crew that's why it's funny. But I don't know. I think that Anna Faris really put a lot of herself in the character, and you can see it, and it's great. Like so good. So good. Mm-hmm. Did we watch it on streaming on anything? Or
We watched it on. I feel like this movie's always on Netflix.
Netflix?
It's like a Netflix staple.
Sure.
If it goes off of Netflix, it's back there in like a month.
Yeah.
And if you can't find it on Netflix, it's usually on like USA.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It'll be on.
Turn on
it'll be
basic cable at
basic
any hour of the
yeah.
day, and the House Bunny will probably be on
USA, TBS, TNT, one of those. Coming soon to IFC channel.
Yeah.
IFC channel is just some weird shit.
I mean, IFC channels
They show whatever the
programming
hell
is
they
kind of
want.
wild.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's available for on streaming listeners if you want to go watch it on Netflix now. But do we have any final thoughts before we want to wrap up our House Bunny talk? I know we did a lot of Playboy, a lot of Girls Next Door, but
I feel like
that's
this is
Hand
my
in hand.
kind of love letter to Playboy, just because I kind of like that I just grew up surrounded by the brand
Yeah.
of Playboy. I loved reading the magazine as a kid. I was always very fascinated with flipping through all those pages. The Playmate of the Month questionnaire, I love, of when they talked about their favorite movies, their favorite sports teams, and they always would sign all of their eyes with little hearts.
And you mentioned this earlier. That whole thing about there's a hidden Playboy logo on every cover. That's
when we were at a thrift store about a month ago, do you remember when I picked up the Playboy and I'm like, all right, who's going to find it first? Because whenever you look at the Playboy cover, you have to find the hidden Playboy bunny. And it was a thing in our house when we would go over to my dad's house of that whenever Playboy would come every month, that whoever you kind of looked at it with, who could spot the bunny first.
Oh.
Yep.
So that reminds me of the girls. This is when I was in like 8th grade. They would get the little bunny like paper cutout and put it on their hip
and tan
for tanning.
Yeah, tanning.
A tanning sticker. Yeah, or they had the little sticky jewels in the shape, and it would it had the double backing, so you could stick it on, and it would have the little jewel outline. Of the Playboy.
Oh, you know what? Also, at the end of the year, it was around the December issue.
Thing,
Their holiday issue was always fire. I remember seeing Dita Von Teese in the cover of Playboy. It was the first time I ever laid my eyes on the beauty that is Dita Von Teese, and I was fascinated with her.
Like, who is this woman?
Who is this beautiful woman with this cinched waist in this corset?
Yeah.
Fascinated. Beautiful. I remember it being a huge moment when my dad got that issue. But I remember in their December issues, they would always have Sex and Cinema for the year, and they would have all of the steamy pictures of sex scenes in movies.
Oh.
Yeah. And I just remember reading all about these weird art house movies from Europe.
I bet Color of Night was in one of them.
Oh, of course
With
it was.
Bruce Willis.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Loved it.
And like I mentioned before, Hugh Hefner, I mean, no secret, very complicated man. This is not the type of person that can exist now post 2017 after he died.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if you can have a figure like Hugh Hefner anymore. And when you read in Holly's book, there's a lot of, remember the series on Annie about kind of Playboy.
Yeah, Secrets of Playboy.
Secrets of Playboy. It's a very complicated legacy.
Yeah, it was dark. I watched it.
It was very dark.
Yeah.
Yep. And just kind of Hugh Hefner as being this complicated man, that he's this figure of sexual liberation of the 1970s. But when it really comes down to it, Hugh Hefner had very traditional values that were very conflicting to what the public might thought of him.
Right.
Too.
And I think it's also interesting that there were other magazines that tried to do what Playboy did, but they were looked at as lowbrow.
Sure.
Whereas Playboy was kind of classy.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of. I mean, it's
it was.
It's what any magazines like GQ. It all stems from Playboy.
Yeah.
It's just any magazine, any lifestyle magazine for men. It all comes from Playboy.
Yeah, because when I was little and I just knew that Playboy, it's a dirty magazine.
Right.
But as I got older, I was like, oh no, wait, this has actual articles and people are reading this.
There was a early 1980s television movie.
I was gonna say, when are we gonna talk about the Kirstie Alley made-for-TV movie?
Now, who was she playing? Was she like Gertrude Stein or something?
I think it's based on was it Gertrude Stein that went undercover in the Playboy Club?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who was it? I'm going to look it up or you look it up and I'll talk about it. It was about a journalist who went undercover in a Playboy Club in Chicago in the 60s. And just to kind of see what it was like, is it a brothel? Is it what's going on in
Gloria Steinem.
I was close.
A dramatization of Gloria Steinem's undercover investigation of working conditions bunnies faced at the Playboy Club.
Yeah. And I remember my parents watching it and them just kind of being like, this is for grown-ups. But what I remember seeing was this scene of, I don't know if it was Kirstie or somebody else, but they were in a dressing room and they were undoing the corset and they showed
the marks on their body,
and she had these marks going down her back of this corset because it was so tight. But it's it's a corset.
It's also 1985 Kirstie Alley.
Beautiful.
And it was a
knockout.
television.
It was a TV
television
movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. It wasn't. Yeah.
Well, do you remember when they did the Playboy Club TV series?
Yes.
I think Amber Heard was in that.
Well, that was also the network's solution to Mad Men.
Mad Men, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it looked really good.
Did,
but
yeah.
then it didn't last.
Right, right. Amber Heard is on the red carpet. I wonder if that was that around the same time? No.
I think that the Playboy Club was more around 2011. Okay, before we close out this conversation, what are the pictorials that Shelley says that she was in? I think that she said that girls in the Midwest and also
Girls with a GED.
Girls with GEDs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyhow, all right. Well,
all right. Let's wrap this up. Thank you so much, Justin. It's good to have you back on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Great episode. Great choice. And listeners, go watch The House Bunny on Netflix. Mm-hmm. But think of something else, and we'll be glad to have you back on.
Well, we need to do our Evening Star episode. I feel like we'd always we had always known
like, we
that
almost got through it.
The Evening Star was going to be your follow-up episode, but I feel like The House Bunny just kind of felt like a more important movie to talk about. I mean, I hate to diminish the legacy of The Evening Star.
Right. But also, if you know me, you know I can't not talk about The Girls Next Door. I bring it up all the time.
Perfect opportunity to talk about The Girls Next Door and Playboy.
Absolutely.
And Anna Faris. We love Anna Faris.
Yeah,
love
for
her.
sure. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks again for coming on, and listeners, stick around. We'll be right back. Listeners, we're back. Thank you so much for sticking around to the very end of another episode. Another really fun one. Justin, thanks again for coming out and taking part. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's solid. You know what's funny? We last watched this movie in February. I saw 2 letterbox logs for this movie.
For this year?
Logged this movie twice this year.
That's funny. I love it. Well, it's a funny movie, and it's fun to revisit. But I think it's just about that time in the episode. Yes.
Are you going to read all of the Patreon shout-outs, like Shelley remembering all of the names?
I don't know if I can do it for all of our plentiful patrons.
Just kidding.
Let's find
You don't have
to. Well, we do want to say a great big hello and thank you to all of our patrons. Active, Jeff, Deja, Amy, Erica, Anna, Mitchie, our friends at How Do You Drew, Andy, Kate, Pep, Tammy, Roberto, Daisy, Patrick, Kelly, Chrissy, Stephen, Laura, Thomas, Lori, Brenna, Jessa Rabbit, Lawrence, Lisa, Alexis, Thomas, Millie, Ted, Benny, Melanie, Susan, Shelby, Muffy's back, thank you, Paul, Jamie, Drew, Genevieve, Dawn, Josh, Aaron, John, Nick and Shannon, Christine, and Rufino. You guys, thank you for being patrons. There is so much going on.
There's so much fun stuff on
the
Patreon
Patreon
right now.
This summer. We, at the $5 level, we are in the middle of a special summer series. We're watching our favorite episodes of Beverly Hills 90210. Mm-hmm. Every other Monday, we are releasing a new 90210 review episode. We released one on, on the 1st. There's going to be one on the 15th.
We've done some Beach Club episodes. We've done Brenda goes to Paris and tries to pass herself off as a
French ingenue.
Parisian to a 90s Dean Cain.
Yes, indeed. We're doing it all through July and August. Mm-hmm. So there will be, like I said, one every other Monday. So in July, there will be 3. In August, there will be 2. So there's going to be 5 more. So those are bonus to our actual regularly scheduled monthly TV that keeps us gay. So in the month of July, there will be 3 90210 plus 1 regular TV that keeps us gay. So that's 4 TV episodes at the $5 level. And at the $10 level, you get all of that plus the monthly commentary. So if you're at the $10 level for the month of July, you will get 5 bonus episodes.
You'll get a lot of cool shit.
Gay. Okay. And in August, you'll get 2 90210s, 1 movies that keep us gay, and 1 commentary. So it's 4 bonus episodes.
What a time to join.
At the $10 level for August. So summer of 2024, baby. Patreon.com/movies that made us gay. Check it out. If you join at the $1 level, we give you our thanks. We give you all our hopes and prayers, and we give you a shout out every episode, just like we did to all of those wonderful patrons. And all of your donations go to keeping us on the air, ad-free, every week for you.
You know what is free, though?
What's that?
Is to write some kind words
Yes.
on Apple or Spotify.
Yes, indeed.
Write us a nice review.
If you have an iPhone or an iPad, you have the Apple Podcast app pre-installed. Open that up, search for Movies That Made Us Gay, smash 5 stars, and you can write us a review there. If you're on Spotify, you can go ahead and give us a 5-star review as well. There's no actual written reviews, but you can give us a 5-star rating. But go ahead and do that. That helps us out. That helps all that engagement really helps our show get spread to a wider audience, as well as going over to Instagram at Movies That Made Us Gay, liking our posts, sharing our posts, saving, reposting, posting into your stories, all of that stuff. All of that engagement really helps us to get to a wider audience. And we're most active on Instagram. So check us out over there.
Yeah. You can follow our personal accounts. I'm Scott Youngballer on Instagram, and follow my letterbox.
Yes, indeed. I am at Peter Lasagna on Instagram, and follow Scott's Letterboxd.
Yeah.
I watch all the same movies pretty much. But thank you so much, everybody, for sticking around. It's an extra long episode this week. But we'll be back.
Bye.
Bye.